And seeing their transformation, I decided to dedicate my life to lifestyle medicine and help more people achieve the same. A few years later, here's a photo of my grandparents at my wedding. I don't think that one of them might be here if we had continued eating and living the way we did before we discovered a healthier lifestyle. So today I'm here to share with you my journey, my family's journey, and thousands of my patients' journeys in lifestyle medicine using intermittent fasting and other lifestyle changes to live a longer, healthier life. The morning sessions I watched from here, and they were amazing, fantastic collections of scientific information, of studies. So lovely to see the physiological effects explained so wonderfully by the previous speakers, with references to Ayurveda, references to modern nutrition, and studies conducted all over the world. In this session, I'm going to be focusing on the practical application of fasting for the prevention and reversal of lifestyle diseases. Reversal is a fairly new term. We thought that diseases such as diabetes and hypertension cannot be reversed, but like the other speakers mentioned, and like I'll be sharing with you, they can be significantly reversed in a majority of people. I'll be showing you how to approach doing this as a clinician, as a researcher, as a student. There is so much that you can learn and apply in your lives as well. So let me start with my journey, the resources that I used, and how I came about intermittent fasting. When I graduated from college, I had finished my internship at various hospitals, and I've seen hundreds of patients undergo amazing transformation. There'd be people come in with sugar levels of 200, 300, BP of 210 by 130. People who we'd wonder how come they're still walking around with such high blood pressures and such high blood sugars. In just a few days' time, they would remarkably reverse their diseases and then go back home. But the problem was they would come back to the hospital the next year with the same problems. I remember there was one family who had come to the hospital for 17 years in a row. The 17th year, I asked them, you guys have come here with your child, they come with their son. And I asked the son, you see, I know why your parents are here, but what are you doing here? He said, my parents have brought me here for stress reduction. Fun young man. So I asked his parents, why are you here? They said, no, we come to the hospital once a year and we stay here for 10 days. We lose 10 kgs each. And then we go back home. We put on 15 kgs and we're back the next year. They were suffering from diabetes, from hypertension, from heart disease, obesity, long list of chronic diseases. They were like a walking medical textbook. So I dedicated my life to finding out how do we help people achieve permanent health. It's not about 2 days of therapy or 5 days of treatment or 1 month of medications. It's about a lifetime of good health. And I discovered this website, which I'd like to share with all of you. It's called nutritionfacts.org by Dr. Michael Greger, who's an American physician. He has been compiling the latest evidence-based nutrition into bite-sized videos for over a decade now. And if you have not seen the site yet, I would recommend going and checking it out right away. And Dr. Michael Greger is my personal mentor and advisor in my journey as a physician. Inspired by his website in 2014, we started nutritionscience.in, which is a plant-based diet online learning platform where we conduct courses. We have over 200 different recipes using only healthy ingredients, from your pizzas to pastas and burgers and curd rice and ragi mudde and rotis to your cakes and savories, all kinds of delicacies, but that are capable of preventing and reversing disease. In 2019, after we had hundreds of patients join our workshops, join our courses, learn how to cook healthy food at home, and then they'd come back and tell me, look, doctor, we know how to cook it at home and we're doing it on most days, but it would be great if someone could just cook this food at home and send it to us. Life would be so much easier. So we started sampurnahara.com, which is India's first whole food plant-based social enterprise, where we prepare delicious healing meals every day and home delivered to people across Bangalore. And I'm going to be sharing with you in this talk some of the secrets that we use at Sampurnahara, at Nutrition Science, to help people live longer, healthier lives with delicious food. So let me begin the story from the time I graduated as a doctor. I came back home and my grandparents were fresh back from the hospital. So I told my family, look, Tata Pati are back from the hospital, but we shouldn't let them go back there for the same problems. So let's keep them on a healthy diet. We continued them on intermittent fasting. We would cook separately for them, healthy food only for them. And the rest of us ate normal food because we were healthy. Why should we go on a diet, right? This was until I found research that has been published in India that showed why that was such a bad decision. Now, these results are from the Global Burden of Disease study. And the top number one cause of death in India as of today is ischemic heart disease. You can see the yellow-orange line, the way it's shooting up right here, causing 15 lakh Indians to die every year. Now, the sad news, or the good news, depending on the way you look at it, is more than 90 to 95% of deaths from ischemic heart disease may be preventable. These 15 lakh people need not have died if they had followed a healthy lifestyle to begin with, at least a vast majority of them. And even the other leading causes of death, COPD, stroke, diabetes mellitus, chronic liver diseases, they are all preventable chronic lifestyle diseases. And if you look at the risk factors for death, the number 4 risk factor for death in India is the food that we eat. Right? So in the 1960s, there were a bunch of researchers who wanted to find out how many people in India already have heart disease, because the graph that I showed you is today, right? But what about the 60s? Heart disease was not very common then, at least that's what we thought. So a group of researchers decided to find out how many people in India have heart disease without knowing about it. We thought that heart disease was quite rare at that time, and the researchers started this study. What they did was, so before that, for especially since the students are here, a quick overview of heart disease itself. It's not a disease that can come in a few minutes or overnight. It's not like catching a cold. You can go out in the rain and catch a cold. Today you can go out and you might catch COVID-19, God forbid. But heart disease is a disease that develops over many years, over many decades. The plaques set in, the fatty streaks lead to the plaques, and then a plaque can burst, causing a clot and blocking off your arteries. So what they did was they took 500 people who had died from unrelated causes like road traffic accidents, healthy people who had unfortunately passed away, cut open their chests, took out a piece of their coronary arteries, put it under a microscope to find out how many healthy Indians like you and me already have heart disease without knowing about it. What they found was shocking. They found that by age 10, 95% of us already have the starting stage of heart disease. They found fatty streaks in a child as young as 2.5 years old. There was more research conducted all over the world, and we now know that heart disease starts when we are just children. The predisposition starts when we are in our mother's womb, even before we're born. By the time we're 10 years old, practically every one of us already has the disease. By the time we're 10 years, it's fatty streaks. In our 20s, it's plaques. In our 30s and 40s, it develops into calcifications, and the plaques starts killing us off. In the heart, it's called a heart attack. In the brain, it's a stroke. In the arms and legs, it causes gangrene, and in the aorta, an aneurysm. These are all the same disease in different parts of the body. So, so the question that we need to ask ourselves now is not how do we prevent a disease that might come at some point in the time in the future when I grow old? No, it's about how do I reverse the heart disease that I probably already have. Can we do that? The answer is yes, we can. Dr. Dean Ornish and his colleagues published the Lifestyle Heart Trial in 1990, where they took people who were suffering from heart disease, moderate to severe heart disease, and put them in two groups. One group, they said, you do what your doctor tells you to do. The other group, they put them on a healthy diet and with regular physical exercise, mental relaxation practices. Here's what they found. In the group that did not follow the lifestyle practices strictly, the heart disease got worse. No surprise there. In the group who followed it to some extent, it stayed about the same. There was not much difference. But in the group who strictly followed the diet and lifestyle changes, they found a significant improvement. The blood started dissolving, the arteries started opening up, and people went back to their regular lives. Many of them got off medications. They were from being unable to go to the bathroom without going out of breath. People are able to go on treks. People are able to do physical exercise without any problem whatsoever. And here's a picture of what that looks like. On the left at the top is a PET scan of the heart before treatment. When you have when you had a heart attack, the arrow points to the region of the heart that is not getting any blood supply. And just below is a scan of the same heart after eating a whole food plant-based diet. And can you guess how long this took? It didn't take 10 years, it didn't take 2 years, it took 3 weeks. That's right, like 20 days of healthy eating, and that's the amount of change that you can see. On the right side, you can see an angiogram of an artery that has been blocked off with multiple blocks. After just 32 months of a plant-based diet, it has completely opened up once again. That's the healing power of the body if we support the body with the right diet and lifestyle changes. So heart disease is our #1 killer, but most of the people who come to visit you in your clinics and hospitals are suffering from diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. Here's a study, a huge study which studied tens of thousands of people, and what it found. What they did was, so this is from the Adventist 2 study, where most of the Adventists are mostly vegetarians and mostly healthy eaters. So and they have a regular exercise, they have regular prayers, and they lead a healthier lifestyle than the general population. So they took Seventh-day Adventists and they studied what happens to them based on what diet they eat. They divided them into 5 groups. One is the non-vegetarians, people who ate all animal products. The second is semi-vegetarian, those who ate some animal products, but not too much. Then pesco-vegetarians who ate only fish and no other meats. Lacto-ovo-vegetarians, those who ate dairy and eggs, but no other animal products. And vegans who did not eat any animal products at all. Here's what they found. Step by step, there's a stepwise drop in BMI as you move further along the health quotient of the diet. There's a stepwise drop in diabetes risk. There's a stepwise drop in hypertension risk as well. Now, this is a study that's been conducted outside India, but when you look at the research studies conducted in India in the 1860s, right, you find that people did not suffer from diabetes. There was no heart disease, there's no hypertension among the commoners. And these were the people who ate almost completely whole food, plant-based diets. I'll explain a little more about what I mean in the coming slides. In fact, there has been so much research published about plant-based nutrition, about healthy lifestyle, that Kaiser Permanente, one of the leading insurance companies in the world, published a paper called Nutritional Update for Physicians, where it encouraged its doctors to guide their patients on a healthy diet and lifestyle, saying that healthy eating may be best achieved with a plant-based diet. They went on to say that you can have amazing benefits. You can reduce medicines, you can reduce body weight, reduce cancer risk, reduce risk of death from heart attacks. But since they were an insurance company, they also had to outline the risks. So they said that the biggest risks of eating a plant-based diet was your diseases might start getting reversed too fast, you'll need to monitor your sugar, your blood pressure, and your weight, because they may drop too fast back to normal, and you will need to reduce medications. Now, I don't know about you, but if the only side effect of a treatment is that it works too well, I think everyone should know about it. Doctors, patients, and your families, your loved ones should know about it and choose to eat a healthier diet. Yeah. I'm a naturopathy and yoga physician. Earlier you had Ayurveda and you have general physicians speaking. But when I joined my course, the first words that I heard in the first class that I attended were this: the body heals itself if you support that healing process. This has been referred to as the best kept secret in medicine. Now, every doctor knows this, but the industries that work for a profit to, for drugs and for surgeries, unfortunately, do not, they don't publicize it in conferences, which is one of the reasons it's so amazing that your college is conducting this conference and teaching you the natural healing power of the body itself through evidence-based nutrition. So that's the story of how my family and I started eating a whole food plant-based diet and why I recommend it to all my patients. Let's talk a little about how this works and why this works. You see, when it comes to health, there are three things that your body needs in order to keep you healthy. The first is a healthy diet. Second is physical exercise. And the third is mental peace. Very, very broadly, very generally speaking, these are the three things that the body needs from us to stay healthy, right? So let's play a quick game to find out, among these three, what is it that's going wrong and what is it that's going right in your life, right? So I'm going to quickly show you pictures of a few animals, and I'm going to pause it for a second, and I'd like you to guess, each one of you, wherever you are, what does this animal eat? And then we'll move on to the next slide, right? Squirrels. What do squirrels eat? Squirrels eat nuts, right? Small fish eat algae and plankton. The big fish eat the smaller fish. The sharks eat the big fish. Frogs eat insects. Snakes, they eat the frogs. And the eagles eat the snakes. Monkeys, a deer, eat grass. And the lions eat deer, right? Very straightforward, very simple. School children would know this. Monkeys eat mainly fruits. Chimpanzees eat fruits. Orangutans eat fruits. Gorillas eat fruits. And human beings eat everything. That's the problem. We have shifted so far away from our natural diet, away from our natural way of eating, that our bodies are struggling to cope and ending up with chronic diseases. So what went wrong? What should we be eating? When should we be eating? And how do we make these dietary changes? I'd like to do 3 tests with each one of you to find out what is your natural diet. Now, these are all based in physiology, in evolution, and in understanding how the body has evolved and how the body works, right? The first one is a very simple and very fun test. It's called the jaw test. Now, the basic difference between the jaws of carnivores and herbivores is carnivores cannot move their jaws side to side. The jaws are designed to clamp down on their prey and hold it tight. So it has a very different structure than herbivores. Herbivores' jaws, on the other hand, can move side to side to mash food and grind it. So I'd like you to test out this hypothesis. What about your jaw? Can you move it side to side? Yes, we can move it side to side. Our jaws are designed to mash food. Our molars, our premolars are designed with large surface areas to mash food and grind it like other herbivores. The second one is the forest test, right? Now, this needs a little bit of your imagination. Let's imagine that we all go on a trek to the forest and the bus leaves. We have forgotten to take our food parcels from the bus. It's going to come back only in the evening. We have no food with us. We need to survive in the forest. What's the first food that you would look for? And if I know what most of you have answered, you're going to think of fruits. You're going to look for fresh, juicy, ripe fruits hanging from trees, red and yellow, fully ripe, ready to eat. I'm sure that none of you thought of hunting an animal because that's not our natural instinct. The third test is the chick test. I'm talking about the animal chick, just in case you're wondering. So you take a kitten, a hungry kitten, and place a chick in front of it. What will the kitten try to do? It's going to try and eat the chick because that's its natural instinct. You take a hungry human baby and place a small chick in front of the baby. What will the baby do? It's going to get distracted and play with the chick, right? If the baby eats the chick, there's something wrong with the baby. We need to figure it out. The natural human instinct is not to hunt, it's to eat plants. So from here, where did we go? If you look at physiological studies, where you look at how different animals have adapted to eat different kinds of foods, based on the area of absorptive mucosa of the gut and the functional body size of the animals, you can categorize animals into three groups. The first is folivores, animals that eat mainly leaves. The second is frugivores, the animals that eat mainly fruit. And the third is faunivores, the ones that eat other animals. And here is the functional body size of human beings and our area of absorptive mucosa. It exactly intersects at the frugivore line and tells us that we have evolved from frugivorous apes. We have evolved to eat a fruit-based diet, to eat a mostly plant-based diet. So this was discovered by researchers way back in 1980, and it was named the plant-based diet, right? But the problem is, even a dish like puri and aloo sagu is completely plant-based. It's made from plant, right? So does that mean puri is healthy for us? Not really. So Dr. Colin Campbell, who's the author of the China study, labeled this the plant-based diet in 1982, but very quickly realized it's not a complete definition, and he changed it to a whole food plant-based diet. So I'd like to quickly run you through what he found and what does the overwhelming balance of scientific evidence tell us about our diets. What is unhealthy, what is healthy, and how to make the change. So by definition, food that could be unhealthy for us includes animal foods and processed foods. So if you want to avoid heart disease, if you want to prevent lifestyle diseases, you want to live a longer, healthier life, all you need to do is this. Stop eating or reduce eating meat, fish, eggs, and dairy products like milk, curds, ghee, butter, buttermilk, cheese, paneer, and cream, as well as processed foods like oil, sugar, white rice, maida, rava, and alcohol. The next question on your mind is probably what to eat. This is practically the list of everything most of us eat on a daily basis. Should we just end up eating leaves or go on a perpetual fast for the rest of our lives? No. We can eat a wide range of delicious, healthy foods that are whole plant foods. This includes fruits, vegetables and greens, nuts and seeds, pulses and legumes, dals, grains or whole grains, cereals, herbs and spices, and even mushrooms, although technically mushrooms are not plants, they're fungus. But if I told you you need to eat a plant in fungus-based diet, I doubt many of you would still be watching this video. So it's a whole food, plant-based diet, but mushrooms are great, healthy foods too. Right? You can eat a meal that looks like this. It's not about going on a diet. It's not about restricting your calories. It's not about avoiding your favorite foods, but it's about eating a wide range of delicious, healthy foods, like a fruit starter with blueberries and grapes, star fruits, guavas and bananas, with a kanchipura meatli, a red rice, a palak palya, a cherry tomato sambar, and a coconut chutney. It's about eating a meal that looks like this. Oranges, papayas, and guavas with raisins, a nugekai palya, ragi modde with masapu saru, and a badam halwa to top it off. It's about eating delicious meals that may even look like this. Grapes and papayas with a Thai red curry, a ragi dosa, a cabbage palya, and a kosambri. The possibilities are endless, At our kitchen in Sampurnahara, we make everything from pizzas and burgers and pastas to lemon rice and puliyogre, pulaus and biryanis. There's paisam and kheer and pakodas and bhajis and bondas. Amazing, delicious food, but using only whole plant foods. And my friends, that's the secret to healthy eating. That's the secret to automatic calorie restriction. And this is really the crux of my speech right here. Imagine going on a fast, reducing your caloric intake without having to reduce your food intake. You're not eating less. In fact, you're eating more food, but you end up weighing less. You end up reversing disease anyway. Here's how it works. Now, we've been taught in school that a calorie is a calorie, right? But how true is that? Let's examine this for a minute. In a lab, a calorie is a calorie. You burn 1 calorie and you're going to end up with exactly the same quantity of energy, right? So that works. But what about in real life? So take an example. You eat 1 cup of gulab jamun with 2 pieces of gulab jamun, right? That has about 250 to 300 calories. 1 cup of gulab jamun is not going to fill you up, nowhere close to it. In fact, you're going to be hungrier than, before eating it, you're going to feel like eating more. But if you want to get the same amount of calories from a natural whole plant food, like a watermelon, for example, then you need to eat a whopping 1 kg of watermelon just to reach that 300 calorie limit, which is a huge quantity. You're going to feel full after having eaten it. And that's the secret to eating more and weighing less. This is a concept called calorie dilution, which I'd like to explain to you here today. Calorie dilution and calorie density is how much of calories are found in about a spoon of food or 1 cup of food. The more calories that are concentrated in that food, the more calories you're going to end up with after having eaten that meal. The human body, so the average human stomach, your stomach, my stomach, can contain about 4 cups of food before feeling completely fulfilled. So once you start eating, when you hit that 4 cup level, you're going to feel full no matter what you eat. If you eat a calorie dense diet containing animal foods or processed foods, food with oil, with sugar or ghee or milk or curds, then you're going to feel full after reaching 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 calories, depending on the meal. But if you eat a food that is calorie dilute, rich in fruits, vegetables, dals and legumes, whole grains, nuts and seeds instead of oil, then when you feel full, you would have still eaten only 600, 700, 800 calories if you really stuff yourself. And that's about it. So this means that you can eat as much as you like and still reach your ideal weight. That's the secret to automatic calorie restriction without ever having to go on a complete fast. But the next step is to actually go on a complete fast, but there's a problem with that. Let me tell you what it is. Now, most of the sessions in this seminar have been about intermittent fasting, where you restrict your eating to a certain time window a day, or you eat food on one day and then eat less the next day, or you eat less number of calories overall. But when you go on a complete fast, the problem is it is not sustainable. You can't go on a fast for the rest of your life. You can only do it for a short period of time. Let's say you have a patient at your hospital, you're putting them on a fast, you're giving them juices, giving them water, giving them some fruits perhaps, whatever kind of fast you decide to give them. They stay in your hospital on that fast for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. They completely reverse their diseases. Their hypertension, BP goes down, sugar goes down, their body weight comes down. They're feeling amazing. They're feeling happy. They're feeling healthy. Then what happens? They go back home, go back to the diet that they were always eating before. And next year, they are back in your hospital with the same weight as earlier, if not more weight, with worse blood reports. And they've come in, and you have to take them through that entire regimen all over again. It's not sustainable. But It is an amazing way to kickstart a healthy lifestyle. You see, the body, the mind gets used to certain habits, right? Let's say you have a habit of waking up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. That's a habit that comes naturally to you. Every day you're going to wake up at around the same time. You have a habit of, say, eating your lunch at 12:30, you're going to feel hungry around 12:30 every day. But if you have a habit of eating a healthy diet, you're going to eat a healthy diet for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, most people don't. We have a habit of eating an unhealthy diet to begin with. So when we want to change our diet, having a kickstart, a way by which our tongue can just reset itself and adapt to a healthy diet is very, very useful. And that may be the primary usefulness of fasting in a clinical setting. My colleagues before me have spoken about how fasting helps in various diseases. I'm not going to go into the cellular mechanism now because those have been explained in detail in the previous sessions, but let's just browse through them very quickly. Nightly fasting or early time restricted feeding, and as a refresher for many of you, is when you restrict your eating to an 8 to 12 hour window a day. So, you don't eat any food that is rich in calories for more than 12 hours and less than 24 hours. So you stop eating at around sunset and you start eating in the morning at around 10 o'clock. And that is called early time restricted feeding. It's not simply time restricted feeding means you eat in an 8 hour window a day. But if that window happens later rather than earlier, you actually end up with adverse effects. You don't lose as much weight. Sugar level doesn't come as much low as you want it to. BP doesn't reduce as much. Inflammation doesn't reduce as much. This is because of the circadian rhythm. We are designed to eat food when there's sunlight because that's the way we've evolved naturally. So when we do that, the researchers found that our inflammation reduces, blood sugar control improves, body weight reduces. We lower our chronic risk of developing lifestyle related cancers like breast cancer, and even our longevity improves. We may be able to live up to 10 years longer if we adopt intermittent fasting on a healthy diet. There are also specific advantages for specific diseases. For example, in hypertension, there was a study published where they took hypertensive patients and they put them on a water-only fasting, just gave them water to drink. And what they found was people with stage 3 hypertension were able to reduce their systolic blood pressure by a whopping 60 points. And this is the biggest effect ever published to have been able to reduce the BP to such a big extent. But for how long? It stays low as long as you're fasting. But this group of patients did something different. They were taught to eat a healthy diet, a whole food, plant-based diet with low sodium, low salt, so that when they went back home and they were followed up with at the end of a 5-year period, they found that their BP continued to stay low. In fact, it had reduced by a further 5 points. Now, that's the kind of change I'm talking about. Permanent, long-term, better health. That's what fasting can help you to achieve if you use it as a kickstart towards a long-term healthy diet. It can even help in mental disorders like depression. And this is in fact a documented physiological response. When you fall sick, your body automatically makes you slightly depressed. And this is an evolutionary adaptation, right? Let's say there are 25 animals in a group. One of them falls sick. It is in the interest of that animal to take rest until it recovers. It's in the interest of that group that the infected animal stays away from the rest of the animals so that the others don't catch it. So when you fall sick, you don't feel like doing anything. You just feel like going to your room and lying down on the bed, closing your eyes, switching off the light, closing the curtains and sleeping. That symptom of depression is naturally brought on during an infection. And for the first 3 days of fasting, you may feel the same symptoms. As you reduce your food intake, your body responds by conserving energy, dropping your metabolic rate, and making you feel like resting. But after 3 days of fasting, something amazing happens. Your body boosts the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, and many other hormones. And that brings you out of this depressed state. It makes you active, it makes you energetic, it makes you feel amazing. It makes you feel like going outside and finding something to eat, because your body now says, this guy has been not feeding me for 3 days. It's about time he got up and found something to feed me with. So, it's a beautiful evolutionary mechanism that we can use in our clinical practice. When we put our patients on fasting, wait for that 3-day period. After 3 days, that's when you begin to see both the physiological benefits and the psychological benefits kick in most powerfully. Another important thing that happens during fasting, and this is the final part of my speech, and this is perhaps one of the most important parts of the talk, is a complete reset of the taste buds. So the average salt consumption is about 10 to 12 grams, right? But the amount of salt consumption that we are supposed to have is only about 3.75 grams a day, which is a tiny amount compared to the amount of salt that we use, like 1/4 of how much salt we use, most of us. So the American Heart Association, the World Health Organization have found that when we eat more salt than 3/4 of a teaspoon per person per day, we increase our risk of hypertension, of stomach cancer, kidney failures, heart attacks, and strokes. In fact, that's measurable. As soon as you eat food, half an hour later, you measure your BP, it would have gone up by a few points, right? But if you within that 3.75 grams a day limit, your BP does not go up, it stays same. Many of us have been taught, and many of us teach our students that the older a person is, the higher our BP is supposed to go. You take the systolic blood pressure, and it should be approximately equal to 100 plus the age of the patient. This is something that I learned in college, and unfortunately, I myself have taught so many people. Research has shown that this is not true for cultures eating a low sodium diet. For people who eat low salt or no salt, the BP actually goes down with age. You start off with about 120 by 80 in childhood, but by the time you grow older, your 30s, 40s, the BP drops to 110 by 70. And that's been found to be the ideal blood pressure for the lowest possible risk of chronic diseases. But it's not easy when you put people on a low salt diet. Let's say that you stop adding salt to your food, no salt in any of your dishes. Your food is going to taste like cardboard. It's going to taste absolutely bland for the first 5 days. And that's where fasting comes in. In 5 days, your tongue gets resensitized and you're able to start tasting the delicious natural flavors of food once again. You can start tasting the sweetness in mangoes, in dates, in bananas, in muskmelon, the saltiness of carrots, of coriander leaves. Even sweet potato may be too sweet for you after 5 days of a low sodium diet, including a water fast. And this is how it works, right? If you would like to understand this more. Once you eat a cup of mango ice cream, the sweetest mango in the world is going to taste sour. It's not going to taste sweet because the ice cream is so much sweeter. It's overpowered your taste buds and they've adapted. But when you switch to completely bland diet for a few days, your tongue resets. And the natural flavors in food that are not as concentrated as processed food begin to taste amazing once again. And this is really important because as human beings, we are driven by taste. And once again, this is an evolutionary response. When we were living as cavemen, trying to survive, we found that so for those of you who have not studied about this, it is normal to go without food for 3 to 4 days at a time in those times. Even today, if you go to tribal communities all over the world, they'll tell you that, yeah, we eat once in a few days. If we don't get food for a few days, that's normal. That keeps happening. So imagine you're living back in those times. You don't have food for a few days to eat, and suddenly you see a mango tree filled with ripe, delicious, juicy mangoes. You bite into it, it tastes sweet. Your brain tells you, yes, I want more of this. So it makes you motivated. It encourages you to eat as much as you want and take back the rest for your family in order to survive. And that's where our taste drives have set in. We love sweet food. We love salty food. We love fatty food. These are the three tastes that our tongue drives us to get on a daily basis. And when we go on a fasting, whether it's an intermittent fasting with a low sodium whole food plant-based diet, or if it is a water only fasting or a juice fasting for a few days at a time, we find that our taste buds start resetting and we're able to start enjoying the delicious flavors of healthy food once again. And speaking of delicious flavors of healthy food, I'd like to show you a few examples of how you can make your everyday meals, structure it in such a way that you can practice intermittent fasting while eating your stomach full of yummy food on a daily basis. So here we go. Let me just share my screen once again with you. Okay, so this is our website, sampurnahara.com, and I'm going to show you a few examples of the kind of meals that we serve to our patients and help them to achieve a healthier diet and lifestyle. So each one of our meals looks something like this. We start off with a fruit starter. In this case, it's an orange. And then we have a vegetable salad. And then we encourage our patients to start with these two first. Eat the fruits first and then the vegetable salad. This way, you eat the least calorie dense foods at the beginning of your meal so that by the end of the meal, when by the time you reach the end of you finished eating the fruits and salads, you're already so full, but you may have eaten only about 100, 150 calories. Then you have a little space in your stomach left for the rest of your food. And by the time you fill yourself, you are still not overeaten in terms of calories. And then we have a main dish. This is a bisibele bath that you see here, along with the side dish. This is a beans and potato usli. And and in this case, the side dish that comes along with this is a pachadi. You can have a sambar, rasam, any dishes of your choice. And we have a masala vada cracker, which is not fried in oil, but baked in an oven. So it has zero oil, and a flaxseed B12 laddu, which gives you your omega-3s, your flax seeds are some of the most powerful anti-cancer foods out there. They even help you to reduce BP as powerfully as some leading antihypertensive drugs when you eat them on a daily basis. So we have, so this is the kind of meal structure that we give our patients. We give them 5 dishes and we encourage them to eat it for every meal, for 1 meal in the morning and 1 meal in the evening. If you think about it, this is really the way that our ancestors eat. You go back to your grandparents and ask them, when did you eat your food? Most likely they're going to tell you, we ate once in the morning and we ate a tiffin in the evening, and that's it. We didn't eat anything in the early morning, late night, afternoon. We didn't have any of those snacks that you youngsters eat today. So it's about going back to our traditions, back to the way our ancestors ate and achieving the amazing health that they achieved in their lifetimes today in our lifetime as well. So I'd like to leave you with a few take-home messages from today's session. Let me share another screen. Here we go. All right. So fasting is an amazing way to kickstart a healthy lifestyle. It resets your taste buds and trains your mind to start eating a healthy diet. And once you've done 1 bout of fasting, practicing intermittent fasting or early time restricted feeding, where you start your eating window early on during the day, finish it early in the evening before sunset, that's been scientifically found to be the best mode of intermittent fasting in terms of the time ranges. And a whole food plant-based diet can help you, your loved ones, and your patients stay protected from heart disease, from hypertension, diabetes, obesity. If you have these conditions, it can help you to treat them, potentially even reverse them. If you don't, then it can help you to avoid them altogether. If any of your patients would like to do a fast more than 1 day, please make sure that it's medically supervised. Don't let them do it on their own because it could lead to complications. And the best way to go into a fast and come out of a fast is slow. You start slow, you do the fast, and then you break it slow. There is so much more information that I would love to share with you, so much more detail about the scientific research, about practical application, about solving problems. But I believe that our time is almost up. So I will pause my session here. Please share your questions in the comments, in the chat box, in the Q&A section, or if you're watching on YouTube, share your questions in the chat box, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. I'd like to leave you with this take-home message. Years back, almost a decade back, I dedicated my life to plant-based nutrition and started nutritionscience.in, sampurnahara.com. We've been able to light a lamp in the minds of about 50,000 people until today. My request to every one of you who has come to this seminar and who's watching this talk is please don't keep it with yourself. Go back home, share it with your families, with your patients, with your colleagues, share it with your communities. And together we can grow this movement of lifestyle medicine, of intermittent fasting, of staying healthy, and make it an evidence-based revolution. Thank you all so much for joining us here on the session today. Thank you, STMC, for organizing this session. Thank you, every single participant, for joining. I hope you had a fun time. I hope it was useful. And I look forward to your questions to share more information about it. Be blessed.
Thank you for the session, sir. There are a few questions on the chat box there. Dr. Usha Shinoy is asking how often one should be on intermittent fasting for good health.
Sure. So, Dr. Usha, what we recommend is to practice intermittent fasting on a daily basis. The tricky part is it's not just about the fasting, but it's also about the feeding. Okay, you are not eating from evening to early morning. That's great. But what do you eat during that 8-hour window of intermittent feeding? If you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, if you're eliminating animal foods, processed foods, or reducing it to a minimum in your meals, then you enjoy much better health than you would simply by intermittent fasting alone. So intermittent fasting on a daily basis with feeding periods of a whole food plant-based diet is the ideal diet that we recommend as found in evidence-based literature. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir. The next question is, sir, does abdominal obesity reduce on intermittent fasting?
Absolutely. No matter where the fat stores are in the body, in your abdomen, in your thighs, all over the body, visceral fat, superficial, so wherever it is, the fat stores start getting mobilized when you start reducing your calories. It's a very simple equation, right? But it's very important how you do this. If you go on a prolonged fast where you completely cut off all of your caloric intake or reduce it to a bare minimum on a daily basis, then what happens is for the first couple of days, so on a regular basis right now, today, your body burns about 50-50. 50% of your calories are burned from carbohydrates, another 50% from your fat. When you stop eating food for more than 12 hours at a time, let's say you finish dinner before 7, then the next day morning from 7 o'clock up to your first meal, say if you're eating at 10 or 11, then for that 3-4 hours, your body prioritizes fat burning over carbohydrate burning. And that's how your fat, your fat starts getting burnt off and abdominal obesity can be treated and reversed. But if you prolong your fast for more than 3 days at a time, and without taking adequate calorie intake, then yes, your fat gets burned, but so does protein. And that's the problem. So we need to make sure we avoid this by doing short fast, 3 to 5 days at a time, and then after that, periods of feeding where we consume healthy diets of whole plant foods, and we can successfully treat any kind of obesity. We've had patients, for example, at Sampurna Ahara, we've had patients who've taken our meals and come back to us in just 1 week. They've eaten 7 meals, right? That's it, 7 meals from us, and the rest of the food they've eaten at home. They've come back and told us, I have lost weight in 1 week. I tried for 10 years, nothing worked. And in 10 days, 7 days, I've lost 2 kgs, 3 kgs, 1 kg of weight. They continue eating a whole food plant-based diet with intermittent fasting. In 6 months, they are back to their ideal weight. But the most amazing part is when you go for a lifestyle change instead of a temporary diet, you're able to maintain your healthy weight for the rest of your life. It's not a short term effect, it's a long term permanent health that you're able to achieve with lifestyle medicine. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. If anybody else is, anybody else has any questions, then you can unmute yourself and ask.
Okay.
Okay.
I will start. We'll end this.
Yes. I hope there are not any more questions, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable session, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for organizing this, Doctor, and thank you all so much for participating. I had a lovely time with all of you. Wishing you all the very best for the rest of the conference and rest of your careers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Let's move on to the next session. Our next session will be by Dr. Shekhar Annambotla. Sir will be talking to us on the influence of circadian rhythms on health according to Ayurvedic medicine. Let's have an introduction to the speaker by Mrs. Pravalika, SVMC.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Shekhar Annambotla, who was trained in India and has been practicing teaching Ayurveda worldwide since 1988. He is the founder, president, and chairman of the board Pennsylvania, USA. Dr. Shekhar's mission is to educate and help people live healthier lives with Ayurveda. Dr. Shekhar has the opportunity to serve at Maharshi Vedic schools and universities from different parts of the world. He has received many national and international awards. We welcome you, sir, for this session.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone, and good morning to all my friends and my students and my patients who are participating from the USA and other parts of the world. Right now, the time is. Hello. Hello. Yeah. What's going on here? Can I share my screen?
Yes, I'll be making you co-host, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now you can share your presentation, sir.
You can share, sir. Now you
Thank
can
you. Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. And it's a great privilege for me to speak on this podium on the virtual webinar on the conference organized by the physiology department in Devaraj Urs Medical College. Today is my topic as the speakers talked about various aspects of the intermittent fasting. The core value of the intermittent fasting, I'm going to bring it that way, the influence of circadian rhythms, how it can influence on your health and wellness, and through Ayurvedic system of medicine. Okay. The objectives of this session, to better understanding of the proper understanding of the principles of Ayurvedic medicine. First of all, before dwelling into the circadian rhythms, we need to know about the philosophy and the principles of the Ayurvedic system of medicine. We are all unique, independent, individual. Every individual is different. That's the reason the results may vary from person to person. Same diet may follow for the same group of people, same age group and same gender. Results may vary. The reason is that something is behind it. The secret is that we are going to discuss. To understand the influence of macrocosmos and microcosmos, how we are connected to the universe, what is the influence of the universe and we as a human being, as a nature, or living creatures, how the influence is there, that also we are going to discuss. And third, finally, to know the influence of circadian rhythms on various physiological functions, how your moods and gut health and emotions, stress levels and relationships, and all these things influences on your health by the influence of the circadian rhythms. The father of the medicine, modern medicine, the Greek physician, Hippocrates. This is the words he used. The natural force within each of us is the greatest healer of disease. So we are healing. That is the reason what we are calling as modern medicine calls the placebo therapy, or whatever is the miracle therapy, whatever the things are, the miracles can happen. People will survive because the inner healing is within us. That is the father of Hippocrates, the father of medicine, modern medicine, Hippocrates has mentioned. Now, coming to this Thomas Alva Edison from New Jersey, USA, the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest her or his patients in the care of the human frame. Here is the human frame means the body constitution, prakriti of the individual, Ayurvedic prakriti, that is called Vata, Pitta, Kapha, in a proper diet, in the cause and prevention of the disease. So this is the future of the doctor, not giving prescription of the laundry list of the medications. So let's talk about that. What is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is a knowledge of life, a science of life. Ayu means life, Veda means knowledge. Life is made with the mind, body, spirit. These are all three components are required. Spiritually, you have to evolve, and physically you are be healthy, and mentally be healthy. Then only we can call as a good, healthy person. According to Ayurveda, the swastha means establishing in the self, swastha. In Sushruta Samhita, the father of the surgeon has explained that samadoshaha samagnisya samadhatu malakriyaha prasanna atma indriya manaha swastha ityabhidiyate. That means not only the doshas are in balanced state, and the digestion is not only balanced state, the tissues are not in balanced state. Beyond that, there's something is there. Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha. Prasanna Atma means a blissful state of mind. Even when you are sleeping also, you are happy, contented, and smiling and giggling all the time, year round. This is the very important factor. That is the reason a lot of people physically may be healthy, mentally not healthy, and that can lead to various problems. Now, science and research has shown that stress is a contributing factor for creating of almost all diseases. So stress, even though we can't see, we cannot feel it, but we can feel it, but we can't see, but we can do a lot of testings like the stress testings and everything like that. But we can feel that influence of the stress can create the various diseases. Highlights of Ayurveda. Of course, Ayurveda is a traditional system of medicine, is a treasure of Indian heritage. It's a natural healing system of medicine. Now Ayurveda is growing, popularizing like that. As we see that, as we see in abroad, like that in Western medicine here, the Western medicine in America is that native medicine, and we are calling as Ayurveda as alternative medicine in the Western countries. And we are copying that word, same word, in India, alternative medicine. To shame on us in India to say that it is alternative medicine, Ayurveda is alternative medicine, yoga is alternative medicine, whereas Western medicine considered as mainstream medicine is a mother medicine. Because the condition is that British rule has brought us to think about that having a modern medicine is a system of medicine, is a prevailing data. And if you look into that, I will talk about the World Health Organization statistics, how the system of medicine practiced in India, addressing the root cause of the problem. This is the only system of medicine which talks about the root cause of the problem. So each and every individual is unique. Results may vary from person to person. Here is a very important factor which we are talking about, that here individual body type is very, very important for maintaining of good health and longevity of life. Treatment of the whole mind, body, spirit. This is the thing also. This system is the only system is also embedded with the yoga philosophy, Vastu philosophy, Vedic sciences. If you look into the Vedic sciences like that, there are 4 Vedas, main Vedas are the Ruk, Yadur, Sama, Atharvana Vedas. There are 4 Vedas. These are the Ayurveda is a subdivision of Atharvana Veda, which is a subdivision and which talks about more health and wellness. Because if you look into the Vedic literature, Vedic culture, there are more than 40 branches of the Vedic literature is there, which we are not able to encompass it into our healthy life. And then lifestyle recommendation. Ayurveda recommends, Ayurvedic doctors and Ayurvedic physicians and Ayurvedic practitioners can recommend like that diet and daily routine, seasonal regimen, yoga, pranayama, meditation, herbs and physiology and detoxification. This Panchakarma therapies. This is the way how the system of medicine is evolved. And in addition to that, to maintaining of a good health, principles of yoga and breathing techniques, as well pranayama techniques, as well as a good healthy diet. So Ayurveda also emphasizes the principles of treatment of any disease, even into the cancer or any diabetes or anything. Ayurveda follows 3 principles: ahara, vihara, aushadha. Ahara means the food, which we are discussing about intermittent fasting and everything. The primary important role is given to the ahara. Next, vihara, lifestyle. How your lifestyle is based on that, how you are following these things. I am going to discuss today. So a lot of speakers earlier spoken about intermittent fasting, how it is influenced, diet and everything having influenced their health and everything. Now I am going to discuss about that, specifically about the vihara, the lifestyle, and finally aushadha. Aushadha means medicine. Either the medicine in the form of a drug, herbal formulation, a tinctures, a decoctions, a concoction, a potions, or anything can be given in such a way that that's all considerations. Ayurveda based on ahara, vihara, aushadha. Aushadha is given last part. Whereas modern medicine, first thing is that symptoms, diagnosis, After that, give the drug. And very least bother about the diet. Some restrictions are there. And lifestyle, forget about it. They don't need to worry about the lifestyle. So now it's changing. It is changing. Now physicians in the world, worldwide, people are talking about that. Even the Western trained physicians, Western allopathic system of medicine, conventional medicine, doctors also talking about that lifestyle medicine. In America, all the medical doctors, the majority of the integrative medical doctors are talking about lifestyle medicine. What is that lifestyle medicine? Nothing but Ayurveda. Now, in future, the lifestyle medicine is emerging into the India, and soon in all medical colleges, they will be having a separate branch will be opened. It is a lifestyle medicine and lifestyle disorders. We are going to talk about that. And that is the thing, even though we are not going to use the word Ayurveda, and same way in the Western countries, where in America and other parts of the world, they don't use the word Ayurveda. Yoga is in the, because this is the yoga is considered as an Hinduism, a culture, a cult. That is the way they are thinking about that. The science of physical therapy or something like some exercise. They are talking about exercise and everything. This is the way it has brought up. Give the correct name for that, and then system will be growing. Next, according to World Health Organization, in India, about 2/3 of the people in rural areas use Ayurveda to meet their primary health care. So think about that 1.3 billion population. Out of that, 2/3 of the population is using Ayurveda. So can we call Ayurveda as alternative medicine in India? Question. This is the thing we need to think about, that as a physicians, as a doctors, how to educate our people. That is the thing, is very, very important. Ayurveda is based on the 5 elemental theory, which is Prudhvap Tejo Vayurakashaha, earth. So Prithvi, earth, water and space and air and water and air and fire elements. These are the 5 elements are there. These are also considered as Pancha Mahabhutas. Pancha means 5. 5 Mahabhutas means 5 gross elements which are there. How we can apply this practical application of the 5 elements, we can bring into the lifestyle like that. Space in the universe, in a form of body, in the body as a channels of circulation, that is called srotasas in the body, the channels of circulation. Minute micro channels of circulation is called srotasas. The sroto avarodha is one of the obstruction of the srotasas. Like all the atherosclerotic changes are happening, our brain tumors are happening, any blockages are happening, even the cancers are happening because obstruction of the space element in our physiology. So any obstruction, any growth is happening, anything is obstruction is happening, blockage is happening, that is because of srotas, that is the space elements are there. There are some medications, some supplements which can be given to improve the space, expansion of the space. How the expansion of space can happen? By intermittent fasting. That is the reason we are able to see the results, because by fasting, the cells are started to open up. Air in the body, a gaseous exchange, which is a carbon dioxide and oxygen, and breathing with the processing, gaseous exchange is happening. In pulmonary medicine, pulmonary science, which we talk about that various aspects of the gaseous exchange changes happening. That is the reason we always do the blood work, and we are doing, there is a lot of information we can get through the blood work. Next, fire element in the body. That is the chemical reactions and enzymatic actions and digestion. So this is the thing, is very important factor which we are discussing about that the gut health. Earlier, the people are asking that can we lose the abdominal fat or something? Yes, definitely, it's possible. We can bring a symmetrical by birth. We are not born heavy. There are some hereditary factors and congenital factors are there. Jataja. Stula means it's also clearly mentioned that by janma you are born with that type of obesity problems, are the predisposition is there, hereditary factors are there. But If you look into that very clearly, that it is possible, everything is possible. So right now I'm handling a patient who is a 17 years boy, Indian boy, having 277 pounds. So almost about 126 kilos. But high cholesterol levels, none of the health problems, only at the age of 17. So how we are handling the various, improving the digestive capacity, improving the various factors of the fire element. Next, coming to the water element. In the body is the fluids, all the cytoplasm, plasma, all the liquid ionic constituents, and everything considered the elements of the water element. Earth element in the body, the whole body structure, the whole structure, and like a bone structure and skeletal structure, muscular structure, everything is happening there through these things. So how we are applying the ancient system of medicine, Ayurveda, into the modern science, how we are understanding the physiology, modern anatomy physiologically, how we can work on that. Next, these 5 elements are connected to the 3 major biological humors, are energetics in the body. We are calling it the humors. Humors are the energetics in the body, vata, pitta, kapha. You may are aware about that, how these five elements are connected to this thing. Space and air element is vata, based on vata, and fire and water element is pitta, and water and earth elements comes under kapha. So now it's a clear picture for us, very clearly understand that these doshas having influence on the elements. Elements are connected to our body. So elements are, 5 elements are in the universe, in the physiology. Why I am connecting this all things to the circadian rhythms. Before circadian, understanding the circadian rhythms or biorhythms, so we need to understand the 5 elements as well as 3 components of the energetics in the body, vata, pitta, kapha. Let us dwell into that. Yada pinde, yada brahmande, tada pinde, yada pinde, tada brahmande. So, as the cosmic body is so human body. So we are in nature. We are born in the nature. We are living in the nature. We are fighting with the nature always. This is the way we're looking at and everything microcosmic to macrocosmic, how it is connected to us. That's very, very important to us. Without going away from that nature, with going away from the nature, it creates a lot of havoc and problems. So that is the reason now the whole world is suffering with a pandemic called coronavirus, COVID. It's not going to stop. It is not going to end the world. This is the only a sample to us. Once upon a time, we got the effect of the plague, swine flu. Viruses are emerging into these things. Our systems, our ecosystem is changed, and we have to involve in that every level. It's not only physical level, mental level, spiritual level, every level we have to evolve. This is a lesson for us. Whole year we lost it. 2020 is lost. We lost 2020 whole world. Not only one country, every country. Still suffering. When we can go, where we can stop, what is happens to us, we don't know. We are scared. We are completely scared of the world with the invisible virus. So that is a pity situation, what is happening. Millions of people are dying. Our wonderful colleagues, friends, doctors, all are dying because of only one issue is that this is a COVID situation. It is so sad to know about that. Why? What is happening? What is the mistake we are doing? We are not evolving scientifically. Why we are scared to go out? This is the situation because we are not following the nature. So Ayurveda has given answer for that. Every look and corner, it has given a clear answer for us. So when Vata, Pitta, Kapha in a balanced state, they maintain health. You can see the round circles here. It's a maintenance, balance, homeostasis of things. Then when they are imbalanced state, you can see the jitteriness, unhappiness, and angry, frustrated, all the symptoms. You can see the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, how they influence on your health and everything. We are going to discuss in detail. Vata, Vata is a cellular level functions of the nucleus. I'm going to discuss about that, how the nucleus level. So a lot of people may ask that, oh, Western Ayurvedic medicine we cannot explain in modern science. Why not? We can explain. So that is called cellular level. All the functions of the nucleus is considered in a Vata. In somatic level, all the neurological functions, movement, transportation, communication, all the activities happening. For example, a person suffering with the Parkinson's disease, Kampa Vata in Ayurveda. So, which we call as the Vata Roga. A dryness of the skin is Vata Roga. A headache, severe sharp headache is Vata Roga. Abdominal bloating is Vata Roga. Constipation is Vata Roga. Yes, maybe you are using the word differently. We are using terminology differently. So we are using Sanskrit word. You are using the word of Western medicine, Western word, a Latin word. Then Pitta in a cellular level functions of the mitochondria. Mitochondrial function, all the enzymatic actions, all the wonderful way of explaining the data. This is the thing, the enzymatic actions are happening because of Pitta. Pitta is also in the hormonal levels and the enzymatic actions. Whole entire endocrinology, entire neurology is based in the Vata. Entire endocrinology is based on the Pitta. Next, coming to Kapha. Cellular function of the protoplasm is considered in the cellular level, and the somatic level, various secretory functions and immunological activity. Entire immunology is covered in the Kapha. So that means, so we are the main three branches we are covering: entire neurology, endocrinology, immunology. And in immunology, everything, viruses, bacteria, everything comes under that system. So Ayurveda has clearly explained thousands of millennia back that all the systems are pervading and explained very clearly. We are not able to understand. That is the reason. That is the reason Ayurveda considered in India as an alternative system of medicine. It is not scientifically proven. We are always saying that scientifically not proven, and there is no peer-reviewed journals are there. Where the funding will come, then the peer-reviewed journals will automatically come. Vata is responsible for the movement, transportation, communication, neurological functions are all taken care. And Pitta is responsible for digestion, metabolism, transformation, hormonal and enzymatic actions are taking place. Kapha is responsible for structure, cohesion, binding, and lubrication, and immunological activities are taking place by these things. So that is give the nutshell of the information for us to understand the concepts of the Ayurvedic principles of Vata, Pitta, Kapha in terms of how the physiological functions are happening, how it is influencing on health and wellness. Now, how can we see as a clinical application in the clinical practice, as a clinical physician, as a clinician, as a surgeon, how we can apply this Vata, Pitta, Kapha, ancient technology, ancient knowledge to bring into these things our physiology like that. Dryness. So, Tatta Ruksho Lagusita Kharas Sushmas Chalo Anilaha. It's clearly mentioned in Ashtanga Hridayam. Tatta Ruksho Lagusita Kharas Sushmas Chalo Anilaha. That means that dryness, lightness, mobility, and cold, coarse, and brittle, and non-sliminess. These are the characteristics of Vata. These characteristics, we can feel it in our body. If a person is complaining about that dryness, emaciation, or broken or hoarse voice, or insomnia, or constipation, is all the dryness qualities are there. We can feel it. When you feel dry skin, what you do? You put a little bit of oil, or cream, or lotion. That is, means your Vata is increased in your body. Lightness, feeling of weight loss. If a person is by intermittent fasting or something is happening, weight loss is happening. Or a person may have an irregular digestion. Some days he is hungry, some days he is not feeling hungry. The digestive enzymes are irregular. That's called Vishama Agni in our body. Then mobility, stay unstable. So restlessness. Restless leg syndrome, restlessness, insomnia, all the conditions, it's not able to mind mentally changeable always, constantly moving joints. So some people, when they're sitting in the chair, they always move their body. And talking, while talking also, they cannot constantly stare at this thing, something like that. And they can also move these things to the excess of vata. We will talk about that. There are subdivisions of vata is there. Vata is having prana, udana, samana, apana, vyana. There are 5 types of subvatas are there. Then each and every having functions are. I'm not going to go detailed into the subdoshas and dhatus and malas, agni, ama, and all the conditions. I'm not talking about that. So now cold, feeling of cold, intolerant to the cold. So for example, when I'm teaching a class about 200 people in the class, some people wearing the very heavy coats, and some people are having comfortable, relaxed way, and blazer or something. Some people are uptight with not having too many clothes. Why? Because I can tell that immediately, I can tell that this person having vata imbalance is there. This person having pitta imbalance is there. This person is kapha imbalance is there. I can tell by visualizing, not testing the pulse, not testing any instrument. So visually, I can tell that what is the thing is happening there in their physiology. Next, coarse and brittleness, roughness and dry skin, hair and nails, a lot of brittleness of the eyes and the brittleness of the hair and everything is happening. That indicates that it's a vata imbalance. Retinal detachment, simple word, retinal detachment is excessive vata imbalance. Vata is going to pitta. Pitta is located in the eye, is alochaka pitta. The vyana vata, which is going to the alochaka pitta, creating the retinal detachment. As simple it is. Very simple language, you can easily explain to them. Then you can do research on that, why it has happened, vyana vata is increased in the body, what type of diet he is eating, how the lifestyle is there, how the stress levels are there. On the basis of that, we can look into that. So that is the reason prevention is better than cure. Cure is not better than the prevention. This is the words they used. Prevention is better than cure. The coarse, non-slimy joints and cracking of the joints, which we call as the crepitus. So sounds and joints and movements and everything that. And what is happening there? So we talk about a lot of patients now, they are coming with the joint pains and, oh, the fluid is low. The synovial fluid is low or cracking is happening. Now, why it is happening? Oh, we can do only surgery. There is nothing is there. Or glucosamine, chondroitin, boswellia, turmeric, and all these things, we talk about that. Or if you have a severe pain is there, what we do? Corticosteroid injection. Temporary relief. Is it any permanent solution? Permanent solution is that only knee replacement. Knee replacement is fix the problem? No. You may have other problem will come. The dryness is happening all over the body, not only one area. Dryness can happen in the cervical area, thoracic area, or lumbar area. Any area it can happen. So that means we have to cut every part of the body. So then we have to live in the OT room. So this is the thing is that we have to find the solution, how we can bring it the correct way to do it. Vata balancing is very, very important. Next, pitta. Pitta qualities are clinical application, how we can do it. Pittam sasneha tishnoshnam lagu visram saram dravam. Pittam sasneha tishnoshnam lagu visram saram dravam. How they explain? Pitta is a slightly oily, smooth skin and oily skin. Heat and warmth, intolerance for heat, excessive hunger, thirst, and skin problems, early wrinkles and graying. So now you can see that your colleagues, your friends are there. Some people having a beautiful hair. Some people are already having a wrinkly skin and already having a graying of the hair or falling of hair, and everything is happening there. Why? Why the people are differently looking like that? What is the changes are happening? Some people having hot temperament, some people having close and relaxed movement, sweet in nature. Some people are erratic in nature. What is the thing? Because of dosha influence. Next, sharp hunger, sharpness in the physical strength, sharp digestion. These are the things are also important factors if you look into that. So digestion wise, a person can eat digestion very well, and some people cannot digest well, and they're always having a bloating and heaviness in this. If they eat pizza, they can't eat for 3 days, no meal. Oh, I can't eat pizza because the lactose is bad, the gluten is bad. This is the thing. This is the words we are using. The word in my patients when they come to me, see me. I am a lactose intolerance. I'm a gluten intolerance. I have leaky gut syndrome. I have microbiota is bad in my stomach. All the digestive problems, majority of the diseases are all originated from the diseases from the gastrointestinal system. Sour and pungent, fewer people in progeny, they have a lesser children, and low sperm count, oligospermia, azoospermia, any spermia can happen. The pitta, excessive pitta, the pH values are high in their body. Then, if you look into the liquidity and flowing nature, tendencies to sweat. So some people when they are running and even they are walking also they can sweat. Some people when they walk for 10 miles also they don't sweat. The tendency to have a lesser sweating qualities or kapha qualities are there because the padding of extra fat and everything is there. That is the reason it's very difficult to bring them fat out. The sweating is out. The pitta people easy to get sweat. Loose bowel movement. They have no constipation problems. Their tendency to have irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory diseases and the Crohn's diseases, all the conditions. We can talk about the disease conditions, what the dosha identification is there. Then we can tell about what are the diseases people can prone to these things. We can be a systematic way we can do it. So that is the reason we always call the word Siddha Vaidyastu Mantrika. Siddha Vaidya. Siddha Vaidya means, that means a perfection physician, a perfect physician is a magician. A Siddha Vaidyastu Mantrika means a person who is well versed with the scriptures of the knowledge, not only Ayurvedic medicine, with the Western medicine, with the contemporary systems of medicines like acupuncture, Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy, all the systems of medicine, when they know about that, that is the person is a magician. If you want to become a magician, you need to adopt all the systems of medicine. Then only you will become a magician. Magician who can cure the patient, who can live, provide the longevity of the life of the individual. Next, kapha. Kapha qualities are clinical application, heavy, subtle nature, stable gait, and tendency to have heavy build. So they are kapha in nature, the heavy in the body, the stula means the obesity is all. These are the things are kapha qualities are coming more obesity symptoms. They can prone to more obesity conditions are there. All kapha people are not obese. Now, when the imbalanced state creates the diseases, that is called obesity comes on. That is called in according to Ayurveda, it is Staulyata, Stulakaya. Next, it's coming to the cold. Cold is slow. They are slow, methodical, mild hunger. They don't have much hunger. Thirst levels are high. Thirst and perspiration is there. And soft, pleasing appearance and soft complexion. They have there's no much wrinkles and blackheads and nothing is happening. They're soft skin, like a flowery skin. The kapha qualities. Oily, unctuous skin and joints are supple. They don't need to go for the knee replacements or anything. When the vata dosha increases in the kapha person, then only knee replacement is required. In the kapha person in a balanced state, they don't need to have any knee replacements or anything because their joints are clear. Are sweet in nature, the sweetness of the speech and behavior. Their behavior, the attitudes and the demeanor and everything comes under that area, that the way of approach and everything is approachable and they are sweet in nature. And at the same time, stable and steady, slow anger, slow to initiate actions. They are also, because of slowness, a person is kapha nature, by slow methodically they think a lot. They don't jump into the gun immediately, and they're slow and methodically they are doing. That indicates that they have a stability is there. So now let us look into that. Now until now we are able to learn what are the elements, 5 elements, how the doshas are involved, vata, pitta, kapha, how their qualities are there, how the clinical application is happened, and now what are the causative factors for aggravating the vata, pitta, kapha doshas. We need to know about the solution. So now, if a person is having a vata aggravation is happening, that means to avoid heyam dukkham anagatam, avoid the danger before it comes. Heyam dukkham anagatam, that means before the problems are coming, you can avoid it. Prevention is better than cure, which is the thing which modern science has mentioned, modern philosophy has mentioned. In ancient time, in the Vedic sciences, we mentioned heyam dukkham anagatam. Avoid the danger before it comes. Avoidance of tranquil, warm, moist places. Sitting in always hot climatic conditions or moist places, that will definitely aggravate the vata conditions like that. Avoidance particularly. So particularly if they avoid completely tranquility, they have to be silence and everything, maintaining that. These are the factors they can avoiding the creating the tranquility and everything, then create the vata. Eating a dry, rough, light, frozen, leftover foods on run. Always, okay, let me take my lunch or breakfast on the run. I have seen the people in India or in, of course, in USA also. When I was traveling in the metro, when I come to India, sometimes I'd like to travel in the metro areas and all these things. People are sitting there and eating in the train, buses, and as well as on run. And it's interesting that one guy is driving motorbike. Behind the guy is sitting and eating the bhaji or pakoras or samosa. Something he's eating. Why? He doesn't have a time to sit and eat. It is always running. At the age of 50, he will die. That is the longevity of life. Life expectancy is only 30, 40 years. Youngsters has to learn these things. We have to have a discipline is important. Eating on dry, rough, eating a salad. Salad is not a meal. Salad is a simple food which can be incorporated in your meal. That is not a major meal. It is a kashaya as an astringent taste. It is also vata aggravating in nature. Excessive exposure to dry, cold, and cloudy weather. That also exposure to the vata aggravating factors. Excessive wakefulness, staying awake at night, insufficient sleep. Now, new word people are using in America also. We see that I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl. That means I have a patient yesterday, a few days back, Indian patient came. The girl, 20 years, overweight, more than 220 pounds. And what she says that, I work at night better. And she sleeps at 3 o'clock and wakes up at 10 o'clock. She has not seen the sunrise. She has not seen the sunrise for the lifetime. So she is having a lot of medications. And all the medications, psychiatric medication, our Indian doctors are prescribing for her simple medication like the FXR and all the medications, all the psychiatric medication, tranquilizers and everything they are giving. They are not addressing this point of that why she is having problem. And she is so happy by taking the medication. She is addicted to the medicine. And 20 years girl, Indian girl, and 2 times she attempted for suicide. 2 times she attempted for suicide. What a pity situation. And now I asked her that, do you practice yoga? No, I don't believe it. And she doesn't know what is Ayurveda also. And that is a pity situation. And so much of a mental trauma is there for her. The vata imbalance is there, severe vata imbalance is there. Night at 2 o'clock she eats food, pizza. She orders pizza and she gets it food at 2 o'clock and eat it. Until 10 o'clock she will not wake up. Fear, grief, worry, anxiety, agitation, anger, sadness, misery, mental shock. These are all the symptoms I can see in that patient. Worry, always worry, life. That is the reason people who are fearful, worried, they will suicide. Strong, mentally strong, healthy, visionary, they will not die. They will not die. They make people to live long life. They make them healthy. That is the thing is important here. Next, irregularity in daily routine and seasonal routine. This is the thing exactly we are going to talk about. That Dinacharya and Rutucharya is very, very important factors in Ayurveda. Mental and physical exertion, excessive exercise, excessive traveling and speaking. Too much of speaking engagements, too much talking. And recently, one of our physician, Dr. K.K. Agarwal, we lost him due to COVID, we are saying. But there are other factors are there. He is a very good speaker, very good physician, cardiologist from New Delhi. We lost him. We were in the same platform speaking about in the conference on the COVID situation. And we lost him last 2 months back. He's only 64. What's the problem? Because not following the principles of Ayurveda. Mental and physical exertion, excessive work, exercise, traveling, and speaking. Never lubricating the body, vata aggravating factor. And watching television excessively. Some people vision, you can see also, you can see in your cell phone also how many hours you spent on the watching your Facebook or LinkedIn or some messages you are seeing, how much time you spent on that per day. It will give statistical data. How much time visual disturbance is there. Mental ama we are producing. Mental toxins are building up like that in our body. Next, coming to Pitta. Pitta is a aggravating factors, anger, hatred, jealousy, and passion. These are the things that aggravate the Pitta more. How many people suffering with the anger issues? Is there any medicine for anger? Is there any medicine for the hatred? We hate these people, we hate this culture. And in India, particularly, we see in all over the world, hatred is one of the things, religion. You are Hindu, I'm Muslim, I'm Jewish, Christian. And in India, we can have separation like that in the every part of the world like that. You are BJP, I am Congress. In addition to that, what is the other thing that are happening? Like that, oh, you are Andhraite, you are Tamil Nadu, you are Keralite, you are Haryana, you are Delhi, or Hindiwala. Where is the differentiation coming? And when we are physicians, when we are doing anatomy, dissection, we have not seen the body. This is a Muslim body or Christian body or Hindu body or Andhraite or Telugu. We have not seen this type of discrimination. And we don't have any medicine when we are studying of Davidson medicine, Davidson practice of medicine or Golwala medicine. We have not differentiation is there. As a physiology specialist, expert, can you differentiate the person is a Muslim or Hindu when the dead body is there? You can't say. But how we are separating this religious backgrounds and everything and creating the cruelty and killing the people. That's the hatred. Avoidance of cool, fresh and peaceful places. This is also dangerous for us. Drinking of excessive amount of alcohol, smoking and tobacco. Now I am handling with some of the patients with alcohol addiction. This is very common in the college lives. We are scared to send our children to the colleges. Even though your children are very good, the problem is that in the colleges are more commonly they drink a lot of alcohol. At the age of 17, 16, 17, they start colleges and they go to the colleges, 4 years of college. We are every day until 17 years, okay. Your kids are in the home, you maintain it and everything, that's fine. And in addition to that, we have gun violence. That's other problem. We are scared. We always tell our kids like that, please give a call at 9 o'clock, what time, what you are doing. 10 o'clock, what you are doing. And you need to be in the room. If your son goes out at 10 o'clock and spending a time in the bar, next day you can see him in the video, in the television, that he is dead. Gunshot is happened. That is a pity situation. People who are mentally sick, disturbed, lot of medications, unnecessary medications. There is no, that is the reason we can see the more and more gun violences are happening in the United States because gun-free acts are there. That is the biggest problem. Is the developed countries having different problems, and in India having different problems. Every country having different problems. Next, coming to the excessive consumption of tomatoes, chilies, raw onions, sour, salty foods, yogurt, excessive consumption. And this is a particular this season, summertime, a lot of people, they grow the tomatoes and all the background chilies and all things. This is the time I can see after the season is completed, I can see a lot of skin problems, skin related problems are there. Pitta aggravating factors are there. And then you see the seasonal influence is how the thing I am observing since more than 25 years, and I'm practicing around abroad and Ayurveda, and I have seen more than 30,000 patients. So I know that exactly what is happening there. The symmetry is there, the balance is there. The people who come with that I can predict it, the what season, what diseases may come frequently, people. So a Pitta season goes away, a summer season goes away. All the anger, frustration, all the excessive consumption of chilies and tomatoes and everything, raw onions and everything, they eat it, salty foods and everything, excessive consumption of yogurt and everything, and leads to the Vata season comes, in the winter season comes in the month of October, November months. For 3-4 months, we stay there according to seasonally. There, we can feel that all the problems of Pitta related problems, Pitta is pushing the Vata. Then what happening? Anger, rage, frustrations. And at the same time, they have a seasonal affect disorders, sad disorders are there. Seasonal affect disorders, which are sad because of there is no sunlight. There is no exposure. The day starts at 11 o'clock and ends at 3 o'clock. Only we have 3 hours time of a little mild sunlight. So what happening? People are depressed, stressed out, anxious, worried. That is the season of people who are coming, Vata problems are more. Now when the spring comes, people are blossomed, coming out, but they have a lot of health problems are there. So that is the reason we see the more and more people who are having immunological problems. You can see hay fever, ragweed, and pollen problems, digestive problems, and you can see all these things in the spring seasons. Engaging in the frustrating activities, always frustrating activities, arrogancy and frustrations and all the things may lead to various problems. Excessive exposure to heat and sunlight, sunshine. So vitamin D, people are having, and these issues are there, vitamin D, and also fair skin people who are living in this country, particularly, they have fair skin. And they have fair skin. When they have fair skin, they're exposed to the sunlight. What is happening?
I can't.
Hello? Hello, background noise. Mute.
Sorry.
ಹಲೋ ಏನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ರಿ ಅವರು hello sir.
Yeah, is okay? Good.
Sir, 2 more minutes we have, sir.
We have 2 minutes?
Yeah, we have 2 minutes more.
Okay, good.
Okay, sir.
So now kapha is there. Kapha imbalance is there, and I'm going to talk about, I'm going to skip some of these slides. Kapha aggravating factors, avoiding invigorating things like that. These are the things I accept them there. So we have body types and characteristics. I already discussed about this. This is the simple things you have to do it. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy and wealthy and wise. Benjamin Franklin, what he mentioned like that. How the Ayurvedic circadian rhythms, te vyapino api hrunabhyo ado madhyodha samsara vayoho ratri bhuktvanam te anta madhyadika akramat. This is clearly mentioned in Ayurveda, how the dosha balances and everything is happening here. And here, circadian rhythms according to seasons. In the late winter, what is happening and everything, influence of the things, health and everything. So how the midday, Pitta imbalance is there, and Kapha imbalance conditions, how the things are happening there. You can look into that. So this is the Ayurvedic clock. This is the printout I give it to all my patients. This is the thing as much as they can follow. And that is the reason we have an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant program, 500 hours of training program, inclusive of all the medical doctors, health professionals. They can take this course. Anybody can join this program who are they are interested in the lifestyle medicine. They can join the lifestyle management course. So this will be a very powerful course and to establish like that. How the circadian rhythms having variations of the digestive health and digestive gut health having a greater influence on these things. How the sleeping pattern. We always call that the sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene, I always talk about that sleep hygiene. Early to bed, early to rise. Generally, I go to bed at before 9 o'clock and wake up at 4:30. That is my time of 8 hours of sleep, and I maintain good, energetic, healthy life. So what we preach, we follow. That is my philosophy. What we preach, we follow. A lot of people who are preaching, they are not followers. So how we are connected to the macrocosmic and microcosmic, and I already discussed about these points and everything, and how the alertness of the body and melatonin levels and what is the physiological changes are happening, everything. Once you put them into the right direction of the sleeping time and everything, waking time, everything, then automatically all the things will happen. If you are not maintaining these things, nothing will help you. Intermittent fastings are nothing happening unless you change your lifestyle and everything, macrocosmic. So day and this is the day various things, what are the changes are happening in our physiology and everything. So take home points. And finally, I wanted to conclude this point. Support the nature. Nature will support you. That is the one important thing. I humbly request all of you, all your patients, please tell them that support your nature. Nature will support you. Let you follow the biorhythms of nature. So that's very important that one has to follow the biorhythms of follow the guidelines of the season. According to season, we have variations are there. Various seasons are there. In America, we have 3 seasons. Generally, we consider 3 seasons to 4 seasons like that. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. These are the 4 seasons are there. According to season, age, and health conditions, you have to follow the eat righteous food according to season. Make sure that it's very important that each person has to take 6 tastes in each meal. That means madhura, amla, lavana, kattu, tikta, kashaya, rasasa, sweet, sour, pungent, bitter, astringent taste. All 6 tastes should be incorporated. Then you don't need to worry about the caloric values. If you are taking all 6 tastes in the food, then you are maintaining good health. Connect our mind, body, enjoy the life and be happy. Don't worry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session, sir. It was very nice, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will post the questions if there is some questions, because it's a little bit of time up for us, I think, sir. That's
You have questions?
no,
Sure.
as far I think they'll be putting us in the WhatsApp. We will mail you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for organizing, Dr. Usha, and all the team of the people who are organizing this webinar, online webinar and CME program. If you have, feel free to questions. If you have any questions, or please contact Dr. Usha, and I will be happy to answer for these questions. Welcome you, all of you, to come to United States and give lectures to us, enlighten our people, and people they respect.
Sir, we will have a trip there.
Definitely. You are all most welcome. All are hearty welcome to come to United States and give the knowledge, because I teach a lot of courses in the medical schools. So, Hershey Medical School, University of Pennsylvania.
You have to send it for us. Sir will send the tickets to us.
Yes. You just only spend 1 month salary. That's it. You don't need to spend anything. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You'll get you can get a double ticket like that. No problem. Okay. That's not a big issue. Financially is not a problem issue there. Then it's the main thing is that your willingness to come, and commitment is very important. Once you have a commitment is there, then we can end this. They respect Indian culture, heritage, and everything. We have to be a role model for that. We have to be healthy. We have to be strong and follow the principles of Ayurveda. Then it's good. Thank you.
Thank you for accepting our
Thank you.
invitation. And
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Namaste.